Is it better to accept that you're not perfect, or is it better to strive for perfection? Because as you approach it, you get better than what you were. Instead, if we just accept where we presently are, and then we say that we're fine with where we are, then you better be fine with where you are, because you're going to be there for a long, long time, man. Probably even for the rest of your life, unless you find something that motivates you to be better. It's so hard for us to see, because the whole time that we're trashing others, what we're really doing is reflecting an insecurity in ourselves. And the insecurity comes from, again, the sense that I'm not good enough. That's not for me. I talk to students all the time who will say things like that. I want to start a business. Why don't you do it? It's not for me. I don't know how to do that. I couldn't do that. You hear me say this sometimes. Yeah, not with that attitude. But someone's going to start a business. Why not you? Someone's going to go to Columbia. Why not you? Someone's going to be president. Why not you? Someone's going to do all kinds of everything that gets done in the world is going to get done by a person. So why not you? It's going to be somebody. Why not you? And if you have a whole long list of reasons why not you, that's okay. As long as you have a lot of ambition to deal with all of those things that might stop you from doing it. But if you just make a list of why not you, well then yeah, you probably won't. Not because you couldn't, but because you talk yourself out of it. And I think you would probably be amazed if you could see the kinds of things that you talk yourself out of. By thinking I'm not good enough, I'm not smart enough, I'm not this enough, I'm not that enough, or I'm too this, or I'm too that, or I'm not enough in some ways. And a lot of us just have these things pre-built into our heads. I'm not from the right place, I'm not from the right family, I'm not from the right this, I don't have enough money, I don't have this, I don't have whatever, man. All of those things, they're just things to overcome. That's all it is. But of course, then I hate saying it sounds so cliche, but it absolutely is true. Of course, the most important and most difficult thing to overcome in all of that is yourself. Your own self-doubt, and a belief that you can't. The example that we were using last period was sports teams. Like you'll see, if you have a favorite football team, for example, if your team wins, think about how it is that you talk about the game. The one that actually came up last period was we're talking about like Dodgers and Padres. That when the Padres beat the Dodgers, I would get these messages from people, Dodgers suck. And I would say, and which is weird, the number one team in baseball, the best record in all of baseball. The Dodgers suck. No. But if they did, and the Padres won, where's the glory in that? Isn't it better to beat a good team than to beat a bad team? You know, I mean, it's better to say, like, when you look at the Dodgers after the World Series, and they're asking them who like was the toughest series. They gave all this like praise to the Padres. They were like, oh, the Padres were a tough one. Yeah, even after the series, they were like, oh man, what a hungry team. They were great, man. Oh man, they almost had us. Blah blah. Give all this praise in the world. Said, yeah, they were a really good team. We're just better. The teams that we beat, the Yankees, great team. We're just better. Instead of saying like, they suck, because then, like I said, there's no glory in it. And so often we feel this need to put down other people, even if we are better than them, rather than just recognizing them as being something what they are, which is good. And it's important because if the Padres aren't good, it doesn't make the Dodgers better. In other words, you have to have really tight competition between you and other people to drive yourself up. When they say you're only in competition against yourself, kind of. But if you're only in competition with yourself, then I ask the question, what motivates you? What drives you? What convinces you to want to be better? It's like when we say nobody's perfect. It's true, nobody's perfect, but if you adopt that like as your slogan, think about your own life. What is it that would drive you in your life to do better? If you just accept the fact that you're not perfect. Is it better to accept that you're not perfect, or is it better to strive for perfection? Because as you approach it, you get better than what you were. Instead, if we just accept where we presently are, and then we say that we're fine with where we are, then you better be fine with where you are, because you're going to be there for a long, long time, man. Probably even for the rest of your life, unless you find something that motivates you to be better. And so the first part of this isn't really too interesting to me. It's that last part there, that we really desire the misery of other people. I mean, I know people who will go out of their way. I'm sure some of you know people like this. They'll go out of their way to try to pull down other people, or attack other people. I mean, if you think about it, however much time you spend attacking other people, you're not spending any of that time making yourself any better. And for some people, that's good enough. It's just pull them down. I do have a friend, a good friend of mine, who absolutely hates anything Los Angeles. He saw me wearing a UCLA hoodie. And he looks at it and he's just like, fuck LA. I'm like, okay, that's a strange attitude towards the city, but okay. And I said, are you a USC fan or something? He says, no, I hate USC too. Well, why? He said, they're both in LA. Well, you just hate LA. He says, yep, everything. I said, I'm from LA. He said, I hate you too. Yeah, he's based. But yeah, but the thing is that he completely acknowledges San Diego, and he loves sports team. He's still a Chargers fan. He still supports anything that's San Diego related, just loves San Diego. But he also recognizes that it doesn't make San Diego better. He recognizes that the reason he hates LA so much is because they win things. You have, baseball, you have, the Lakers. He even hates the Lakers. Like, I don't know anybody hated the Lakers. He even hates the Lakers. Because anything that's LA related, he feels like it kind of, doesn't, it reflects badly on San Diego, I guess, for some reason. But that's not the case. It's not the case. There are people who are going to be better than you in things. But that doesn't mean you can't be better and approach them. But if you spend all your time trying to pull them down, then you're not spending your time improving yourself. And so, he takes it to an extreme here. He's talking about wars even, that we just want to make other people suffer that much that we'll even launch wars against them. And going back to what you're saying, it's very well might be true. I can think of instances in history where we've seen that happen, and you really realize like human beings died over that stuff. Like real, actual human beings who were born, they lived that hates and that passions just like all of the rest of us, and then they died because somebody in a castle somewhere wanted to try to pull down their neighbor to make them less well off. Not to lift themselves up, to make themselves less well off. But the worst part about that is not just that it's bad or evil, it might be, but it's that it stops you from doing what it is that you could do and what you could become. And it's that sense of comparing ourselves to others and hating them because we're not as good as them or because we're different from them. That's the thing that oftentimes stops you from doing what you could do in life. I'm thinking of, talking to second period, it's going to be kind of the same thing I was telling them. I'm sorry, first period. Over on my printer back there, I have a t-shirt on top of it. I can put it back up. I had it up on the wall for a while. It says, proud teacher of a Columbia student. I had a student last year who, going to Columbia was her dream school. Her whole life, she always wanted to go to Columbia for some reason. If you don't know, Columbia is one of the top 10 universities in the whole world. She was saying that she wanted to study journalism there, always loved the place, couldn't even really tell me why, she just really loved it. So I was asking her when she was, I know as a 10th grader, she'd come by all the time. I was asking her when she was a junior, are you going to apply? She's like, no. I go, why not? She's like, that's like the rich person's school. And I'm like, how do you think the rich became rich? I think they just like tripped over something one day and fell into a bunch of money. They go and they take it. They seize opportunity and they take it. How are you going to become rich if you just always accept that you're never going to be? And so she's like, yeah, but I'm competing against like kids in La Jolla and Coronado. And then she was talking crap about them, about how they have all this money and opportunity, and she starts making fun of them. And I said to her, if you make fun of them, that doesn't increase your odds of getting in, Like you making fun of them doesn't mean that you're going to get a job someday. Making fun of them doesn't do anything at all like that. That doesn't affect the world at all. What it does do is affect your world, because you're convincing yourself that you're not good enough and that you couldn't get in. That's not for you. And so she asked me, should I apply? I go, yeah. Dude, they accepted me. Dude, they accept me, they'll accept anybody. She's a better student than I was. I said, apply. She's like, do you think I'll get in? I said, no. No, it's hard. It's like 4% acceptance rate. But if someone's going to get in, I think it'll be you. Why not? Someone's going to get in. Why not you? Why not? So she applied and she got in. She's over there. Now she's in New York and she's complaining about the weather because she misses San Diego. But the point is that it was finally accepting of something about herself, which is tearing down others isn't going to improve me. The only thing that's going to improve me is to improve myself. can't make yourself better by tearing other people down. Like I said, what you actually do is you make yourself worse. And it's so hard for us to see because the whole time that we're trashing others, what we're really doing is reflecting an insecurity in ourselves. And the insecurity comes from, again, the sense that I'm not good enough. That's not for me. Like I just wonder what you would do if you... I talk to students all the time who will say things like that. I want to start a business. Well, why don't you do it? It's not for me. I don't know how to do that. I couldn't do that. And you'll hear me say this sometimes. Yeah, not with that attitude. But someone's going to start a business. Why not you? Someone's going to go to Columbia. Why not you? Someone's going to be president. Why not you? Someone's going to do all kinds of everything that gets done in the world is going to get done by a person. So why not you? It's going to be somebody. Why not you? And if you have a whole long list of reasons why not you, that's okay. As long as you have a lot of ambition to deal with all of those things that might stop you from doing it. But if you just make a list of why not you, well then yeah, you probably won't. Not because you couldn't, but because you talk yourself out of it. And I think you would probably be amazed if you could see the kinds of things that you talk yourself out of by thinking I'm not good enough, I'm not smart enough, I'm not this enough, I'm not that enough, or I'm too this, or I'm too that, or I'm not enough in some ways. And I get it. I don't blame people for this because I don't think anybody pops out of the womb and just says, wow, I'm not good enough. I think that people go through a life and it's implied, it's thrown at them that they're not good enough. And then once that gets into your head, everything everybody says starts to become that. Earlier, I hope you heard when my name is Kaya, when Kaya asked me if I thought she would get into Columbia. And I said, no, but someone's going to. Why not you? This wasn't me telling her you're not good enough. Right after that, I said their acceptance rate is like 4%. When you have, tens of thousands of applications coming in, and you're only going to accept 4% of those, what separates? Like almost everybody who's applying was like number 1 or number 2 in their school. So now how do you separate all of these applications from people who are all number 1 and number 2s in their school? It's just a crapshoot at that point. That's a coin toss. And so is it likely? No, but someone's going to, and you won't unless you do. Is it likely you're going to be a billionaire? No. Why? Because there are way more non-billionaires than billionaires. But someone's going to, and the person who is, and the person who becomes one, is a person who's going to go for it. But you won't go for it unless you believe that there's a possibility of it. It doesn't even have to be a likelihood. It could just be a possibility. For some people, just a little bit of light is all that they need. There are other people. On Monday, I don't know if you guys saw the note I had up on the board for like the last couple of months, but on Monday, my 12th graders, all their late work was due on Monday. I had students coming to me before break, like Thursday and Friday before break. Oh, Scott, I've got like, 37% in the class. Can I still pass? Yeah, turn in your late stuff. You take off for late work, right? They've been in the room the whole year. Do I take off for late work? No, I don't. Oh, I don't take off for late work. Oh, okay. But you grade it harder though, right? Because it's late? No, I grade it the way I grade everything else. What are they really asking me for when they're asking me those questions?
Excuse.
Yeah. They're looking for a reason not to do the work. They want me to say, oh yeah, I graded harder. Then they can justify not doing it. Oh, so yeah, he didn't grade it harder anyway, so there's no point in me even trying. You take points off, right? No, see, there's no point in me even trying. They're looking for an excuse or for a justification not to do it. A lot of us just have these things pre-built into our heads. I'm not from the right place. I'm not from the right family. I'm not from the right this. I don't have enough money. I don't have this. I don't have whatever, man. All of those things, they're just things to overcome. That's all it is. But of course, then I hate saying it sounds so cliche, but it absolutely is true. Of course, the most important and most difficult thing to overcome in all of that is yourself. And your own self-doubt. And a belief that you can't. So when that happens, people get angry, people get frustrated, people then turn their attention outwards, and they get full of resentment and contempt, and they get angry at everybody else. But it all starts from that sense of self. People with a high concept, a high self-concept, don't trash talk like that. They don't try to pull other people down. No need to. So if you find yourself doing that, it might be a good idea to look at yourself and figure out what is it that I need to overcome so that I can become what I'm capable of. But that last part is the hard part, to figure out what you're capable of. And the reason that's so hard is because, I hate saying it, but I will say it categorically, I would believe that none of you in this room right now know what it is you could become. You don't realize what it is you could be. Like if you really committed yourself to yourself, improving yourself, not in the ways I tell you to, not in the ways that anybody else tells you to, but in the ways that you know for yourself that you need to improve yourself. Because unless you've ever really committed yourself to that, I mean with no distractions, but to focus on it, like a Roman, to focus on it, then you have no idea what you could do if you were to do that. And it's incredible what you could do. Believe that. Because every person who does great things does that. And so, why not you? Why not? Questions, comments, concerns, complaints, criticisms, critiques? Happy Wednesday. Positive, uplifting.